Welcome to the British English Podcast with myself, Charlie Baxter, the show helping you learn British English and understand British culture. And today we're looking at it through the perspective of a Russian person, because I have a friend in Moscow, roughly speaking Moscow, I should say. But I made friends with this person 2 years ago. And they helped me set up a workshop when I came to Moscow to teach some lovely YouTube followers. And it was amazing. And we've kept in touch since. And I thought it'd be fantastic to get her on the show to better understand how Russian people see British people. And because she went to the UK at one point. So we're going to get into it. And her name is Anya. Hello, Anya. How are you today?
Hello, Charlie. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on this podcast. I'm really happy to see you.
Nice. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's lovely to see your face.
Yeah.
So I should say you also do your own podcast, don't you?
Yeah. For
What's that
parents
one?
And for not only for teachers, for educators, for every person who is somehow connected to education, educating children.
Educating children. Okay, yeah, because you're very busy on your Instagram. Has your podcast distracted you a little bit and you're keeping more busy on your podcast than your Instagram now, or what do you do?
Yeah,
mostly?
yeah. I actually spend lots of my free time recording and interviewing people, and then reading about those people who I'm going to interview, like preparing. Yeah, lots of my time, lots.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine.
I think that you know what I'm talking about because it just takes ages.
It does take a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer than you think. This episode comes with a free worksheet over on the website, thebritishenglishpodcast.com. So grab that and you can listen along whilst using it. And you've just had a child, or you've got a 9-month-old baby girl.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah, baby girl, yeah. Paulina, yeah.
And before starting this recording, you were saying that her name is Paulina, and you were trying to tell me the difference between our nicknames, the way that we would maybe say a term of endearment like sweetie or darling. You have an extension of the name. Is that right?
Yeah, extension. This is the word. I'm not sure that this is a nickname. Nickname, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is usually another word, not always connected to the name. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, often a nickname comes from your school, and your friends give you these nasty nicknames that you can't lose, even after 20 years of a reunion. They still call you Sheep Shagger.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have these extensions to our names. And so there are so many versions, but not of all names, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Paulina, that could be, what extensions could we have?
We call her Palusha, Palinочка, Polenka.
Okay.
So
it sounds like
nice.
Just a Russian suffix just thrown on the end of the word.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what could mine be? Charlie-shke.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah.
Or Charlie-ko? Would that work?
Yeah, I guess.
Why not? Yeah.
Chalinka.
Charlika. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, when I went to Chile, I immediately got my name changed to Carlito, and I learned Ito was like small or something, little, and I was offended. I was like, "No, I'm a strong individual." You know, no, you're Carlito. It's like Carlos, and they're like, "No, Carlito, sí, Carlito, muy bien." I was like,
So I believe a British version of Paulina could be Polly.
Polly.
Is it?
Yeah.
A British name, right?
Polly. Yeah. Polina is quite a Russian name, though, isn't it? Like I've met quite a few Polinas in Russia.
Yes, I guess. I don't know.
No?
Actually, like we have, traditional Russian names like Ivan, Kolya, Nikolai. I believe that my name is a traditional Russian name. Polina, maybe it's
Yours being Anya
bit.
or Anna. Sorry.
I like Anya. Anya.
You like Anya.
You call me Anya.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anya. Yeah.
I've met a lot of Ilyas and Sergeys. I think that's the most common two names I hear in Russian. Yeah. But anyway, so we're here to better understand British isms, British culture, British language through the eyes of yourself. So you have had experience going to England, but also, I mean, your English is amazing and you've been practicing English for, I assume, the majority of your life, and you're an English teacher. Do you focus more on British English or American English? Just wanted to interrupt this episode to let you know about something rather exciting that I am running over on the BritishEnglishPodcast.com. I have created a 7-day challenge full of fun and unique activities that will get your blood pumping if you really enjoy getting actively involved in learning English. And to really incentivize you, I'm going to be turning this challenge into a competition amongst you all. So the people that put the most effort into this 1 week of activities every day will be getting some prizes. I'm not going to say any more right now, but if you are interested, then head over to the BritishEnglishPodcast.com, find the courses tab in the menu bar, and you'll see the 7-day challenge. Or find the link in the show notes of this episode. There are some terms and conditions that I explain in full on the webpage for this course, but the main thing to remember is it's going to be a live course, meaning it starts for everyone at a certain date. So head over there now to sign up and get ready for it to begin before you miss your chance to get really active with some fun and engaging ways to learn English for a whole week, and then be in the chance of winning some fan-bloody-tastic prizes. Do you focus more on British English or American English? I just got a glimpse of your family. How lovely.
Sorry. I'm an English teacher and I'm a fan of British English, but I haven't realized it until recently because I just wasn't focusing on it. So I just didn't see the difference. I guess I just didn't think about it. Mm-hmm. I've started learning English when I was at school, and I was like maybe 16 or 15. I mean, I had a private tutor, so since then. But I have a long break from English before I became a teacher. Okay. So I went to England to brush up on my English, basically. Right. Okay. And I know that you're familiar with it. I went there in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago. It seems like a different life, another life now. Yeah, and I went there with English First. I know that you know this organization because I listened to you and Martin on his podcast recently. Fantastic. Yes, so I went to Bristol. And as I have friends there, so I decided to spend a little bit more time there in England and to travel through England. So first I went to London, spent a couple of days there. Then I went to Bristol for 2 weeks. And then I went to, to Wales.
Wales? Yeah, Wales.
Wales,
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cardiff?
What is Cardiff? Yes, I went to Cardiff to visit my friend. And then I went to Milam, which is in the southeast of Cumbria.
Can you say it again?
Milam.
Milam. Is it a small town?
Yeah, yes, it's a small town. About 8,000 people live there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I have family living there. We talk. We've known each other for I don't know how many years, maybe 10 or even more. When I first visited Spain, it was my first time abroad. I met a lovely family there. And since then, we just started communicating through email first, then Facebook, then WhatsApp, and then finally I visited them. So it was, a long journey like through England. And the interesting thing is that I started with London, like the biggest city. Then I moved to Bristol, Cardiff, and then almost a village, but it's not a village. Milam, it's a town. I googled it.
How do you spell it? M-I-L?
M-I-L-L-O-M.
O-M. Oh yeah, here we go. Town in England. Yeah, so a town. I can't say that I've certainly not been to Milam. So it's opposite the Isle of Man. Oh, okay, so it's quite far north.
I saw Manchester from the train.
You went through it? You went through Manchester, yeah. I would imagine you would go through there and you'd see the Lake District as well, because it's just south of the Lake District.
Yeah.
Right. Did you manage to see the Lake District, like walk through some of the national park area?
We walked through this, through many, we visited many lakes and we saw the sea. I'm not very good at geography, but I remember that we walked along the sea, or maybe, no, it was not the sea. Why sea? Lake.
Well, there's lots of lakes in Lake District, hence the name. Yeah. But so you could be looking out to the Irish Sea, but that would be more...
Maybe.
No. Right on the edge. Mm-hmm. I would say that you were enjoying the lakes.
Yeah. And I saw many vans. What do you call them? People live inside of them.
Ah, yeah.
It's the thing
a van.
In England.
Yeah, a van. Yeah.
I remember that I was really surprised because it's not so common in Russia. Like people sometimes travel in vans to save some money. I mean, through Russia, but they don't usually live in them. And I remember my friend telling me that it's quite expensive to buy a van.
Well, yeah, it depends, because we're not talking about caravans for the listeners. It's like a van that is used typically in commercial industries, like in building and stuff, or like tracking parcels and taking them everywhere. But yeah, so they convert them into basically like a travel home in just a van, which can be quite expensive. I've seen lots of YouTube videos on how to do it, and it certainly looks like an almighty task to do it. But quite popular, especially in Canada and in the north of America. Loads of people do it, and as you said, you saw it in the Lake District.
Yeah. So one thing that amazed me is that it was 2014. Right. And I remember that one day I woke up and I saw a car outside that was collecting rubbish from the street. Okay. And you have bins for every particular, like you do recycle. You recycle.
Yes, we recycle. Yeah. Does Russia
not
recycle?
No, it's not now. Like some people, for example, my family, I mean, my husband and I, not all my family, we do that. But it's really difficult, especially if you don't live in Moscow or maybe in some other big cities like St. Petersburg, because we don't have conditions for that. Like people don't care about the environment in general. So, for example, at the moment, we gather like all this paper and plastic in different bags. And then we pick a day, and my husband goes and looks for these big rubbish bins in town.
Oh my God, this is so much effort.
Yeah, it's not in every yard, and it's not like it's not, people don't actually know about this option, that it is possible to do in our town, but people don't know about it. And I believe that basically people throw in these rubbish bins everything.
Right.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was amazing when I saw that for me. And I thought, well, I am in a small town with 8,000 people in it. And in Russia, I live in a bigger town, and we don't have this option because it is just not possible. People just don't know about it. People just don't talk about it. And our government doesn't care.
Yeah,
so in Moscow, yes, I know.
It's the government's
I know that
thing.
they have.
It's to do with the government to sort it all out.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
I don't think it's fair to expect everyone to pick a random day and go around looking for these big bins. But yeah. It's quite normal to have these recycling bins in most gardens in the UK or most properties. Yeah.
So now my husband is thinking of buying these recycling bins, and they are quite expensive. I mean, buying just for us because they are bigger, of course, and it's more convenient to throw rubbish there than in our normal bins. And they are quite expensive. So we are trying to find something cheaper, but cheaper usually means not so good quality. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Okay.
And you know that with not every person would think about it. Not every family, of course, because they have other things
to worry about. Yeah. So so if you move to the UK, you can look forward to the government providing you with premium quality recycling bins with no extra cost.
Yeah, I would love to. By the way, I would love to live in the UK for some time.
Yeah, the recycling utopia. No, I don't think it is actually. I've lived in Germany and America and now Australia, and I would say that Germany was hot on their recycling. They're probably best known for it. America, not so much. Australia a little bit, but apparently they're not great. But I'd say Germany are the best with their recycling matters. They take it quite seriously. When we moved there, we had this like expat host or person that showed us what to do. And I would say 30% of the induction was about recycling. She was like, you put this thing in this recycling bag, this thing, this, like went on for quite a while. But yeah, so not the best of the best in the UK, but probably, maybe better than Russia at the moment. Yeah.
So this was like the first thing that amazed me.
So you were like, hello
I'm
to your cousins or your family members, and you're like, I'm so impressed with your recycling situation.
Yes. But the first thing that amazed me was the number of times that I heard the word sorry starting from the airport.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, again, it's so unusual for me as for a Russian girl. I don't mean to say that Russians are rude people, but I know that some people in the world think about it because we don't smile a lot. Yeah, and sometimes people, I know that we discussed it, that people around the world may think that we are rude and not friendly. I don't think it's true. I think it doesn't depend on the country, it just depends on the person. And in every country, there are people who, I don't know, have bad mood or, I don't know, just angry or
I would say it's more to do with like the level of expressiveness that's normal. And just because you're not smiling doesn't mean that you're the same level of happy as somebody who's brought up to be quite expressive. So I would assume it's like that. But you noticed sorry was a lot more frequent. And then does that mean that so apologizing is not part of Russian culture too much? Does it show a sign of weakness instead of politeness?
Yeah, I think so. But I believe that this is the thing where we could grow a little bit. I mean, saying sorry to each other. For example, if you just walk along the street and somebody touches you accidentally, not on purpose, just accidentally, and he or she not always would say sorry. It just, it just like nothing happens. Yeah. And for me, this is a sign of being not only rude, but also unintelligent.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because
I would also argue that it's unintelligent to say sorry to a lamppost when a British person walks into one.
I remember that story of Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, when you in a supermarket or in a crowded place, and you always touch someone, yeah, and I think it's okay. Well, I mean, again, if it's a really crowded place, and if you just not just touch, but
touching their
you
face
kind of push, no, like with a shoulder to shoulder, you kind of push, or you know, in the underground, for example,
you've got to budge. Good word, budge your way in.
Budge.
Yeah.
Budge.
Yeah,
oh,
force
yes, thank
with
you.
The shoulders, budge.
Yes, absolutely. And you don't do that on purpose, but for example, in the rush hour, in the underground, it's nice to say sorry. Sorry. Okay. And you do that. You do that.
Yeah. I think people are a little bit more grumpy on the commute, and people work. But no, we would say sorry. If we touched each other, it'd be, oh, sorry, pardon, sorry about that. Yeah, we would say that.
Yeah. We don't always say that.
Okay, but
sometimes, yes. But
you want it more. There we go. Yeah. We can put it out there. Anya wants a bit more of apologizing in Russia. If you guys ever see Anya, say sorry if you touch her face. Yeah,
please. And don't touch my face.
Anything else that you noticed when you went to Milam?
Yes. I was very angry, basically, with British government or what, because I was missing some food that I couldn't find in a supermarket.
What were you missing?
And it was like a disaster for me because I love food. So I couldn't find, I especially Googled this word because I didn't know this word, buckwheat.
Buckwheat, yeah, rare to find that. It's rare to find that, especially around 2014, I would guess.
Now we found it in a Polish supermarket.
Okay, there we go. So good tip. If you're looking for your buckwheat in England, head to a Polish supermarket or small food store. Yeah, or grocery shop.
Yes, buckwheat. And I also couldn't find bread. Like, you have bread. I mean, in Russia, we have a brown bread and a white bread.
Yeah,
is it the same?
I need to ask, Anya, were you in a supermarket or were you just in like a clothes store?
I was in different supermarkets.
You were in Primark asking for a loaf of bread.
I was in many supermarkets and I couldn't find this brown bread. Like we have
brown bread. We have white bread and we have brown
everywhere.
Bread. We do. I promise you. But obviously not the day that you went to that supermarket.
Maybe. But it was like, I remember that it was a bit of a problem.
So maybe that means that we do like white bread more. I like brown bread, but I know lots of my friends who don't know too much about nutrition, I will say. They like their white bread. Yeah. So is it not common to have white bread in Russia?
It is common. It is.
But you've got the option.
Is. Yeah. It just, I don't know. I just love bread.
Bread and buckwheat.
And buckwheat.
Yeah. and apologizing.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Another thing, when I was in Bristol at school learning English, and I was taken aback by some teachers and the way they behaved in a good way. I mean, so we had these classes where we kind of had some free time, so we could do our homework and ask questions if we didn't understand something and so on. And during those sessions, teachers, they would come up to you and they would sit on the desk, not on the chair, or they wouldn't stand. They could kind of behave themselves in a more relaxed way.
Right.
You know, like they're normal people.
Okay.
Normal
so
people.
When you say sit on the desk, are you meaning like they lean against it, or they actually get cross-legged in front of you on the desk?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I mean,
in the front table. In the front table, at the front of the classroom.
Not in the front table. No. Not in the front of the classroom. Like where you sit, they could come up to you and they could sit. I don't know how to say it, basically, even in Russian, like just a little bit, like maybe lean. Yeah. When you say lean, what do you mean? With your arms or with your legs as well?
With your legs as well. Yeah. You kind of put your weight against it.
Yes,
so
like this.
Kind of
and
half
also,
sitting.
Yeah, half sitting, and also with their legs on the desk, like crisscrossed legs sometimes.
Cross-legged, we say. Cross-legged, that's a bit
cross-legged,
weird.
Yeah.
That seems peculiar. I feel like they should lose their job. Especially if they're a woman and they're wearing a skirt. That would get the teenagers excited, wouldn't it?
It was a young man, but it was not considered something rude, or he didn't behave rude. He was just so friendly. So he just wanted to be on one level with you and to explain you something. But the thing is that I really like the way they feel relaxed, like normal people.
Yes.
Because in most traditional Russian schools, teachers, they should either stand or sit, and all children and teenagers, they also should sit, and they can't stand without asking. And it's all so strict. I don't like this because it's difficult for people. Maybe not for all people, but for myself, for example, it's different to focus on something when you are not relaxed, when you feel like a strain, you know. I just can't think, because I'm thinking about a teacher who is looking at me. Okay, is she moving? Why is she moving? Anya, stop moving, something like that.
Right. Yeah. I see your point. Yeah. Even though I haven't experienced the cross-legged thing much, I think I remember sometimes they would get on the desk at the front and kind of be like trying to make it a more of a communal kind of sharing experience. But I definitely understand what you mean, of course, making it more like, relaxed, enjoyable atmosphere, and make it less about them being above you and more about trying to brainstorm some ideas or create a learning experience that allows creativity to flow. Yeah. So you feel like in Russia, it's still to this day quite strict, would you say?
Not in every school. It depends, again, in most schools. But we do have this new generation of schools, which are private schools mostly, and they, I believe, are quite expensive for the majority of our generation, for the majority of people.
Yeah.
And atmosphere there is more enjoyable, and it's more about pupils as people, as human beings, than about them as just learners, you know? So they can feel that they have their point of view and they can freely say it out loud.
Yeah.
and teachers, express themselves. Yeah, and I'm happy that more and more schools like that appear in Russia.
I would guess that the 50s, the UK was probably quite strict. I remember I've seen videos of during Second World War in the 30s and 40s, they would have very, very strict situations where they were learning their times tables, and it would be, put the gas masks on and do your times tables in the bunker. I'm imagining that right now. But yeah, things have progressed, and I'm sure in Russia it's progressed since you were in school as well.
Hopefully. Hopefully. I'm not saying that teachers should behave as children and so that children wouldn't respect them. No, I'm not saying that. I just think that learning should be an enjoyable process where children don't think about being about their position, where they focus on the process, on the task, and on their learning.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, I agree as well. And that's what you've dedicated a lot of your career to, isn't it? To try and create a space for young learners to feel comfortable to express themselves and enjoy learning.
Yeah, and I talk about it to different experts and specialists and moms and teachers and educators on my podcast, and psychologists as well, that we should look at children from a different perspective, that they are also human beings, not just children that should listen only to adults and obey you, but they are also human beings with their likes and dislikes, with their opinion and so on.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you or your daughter is very lucky. She's going to have a lovely mum to bring her up. But it'll be interesting to see, in when she hits the terrible twos, 2 and 3 years old. I wonder if you'll still be giving this message out to the world. Or you'll be like,
you won't believe it.
Stupid little kids. They should be told what to do. I'm sure you won't.
I asked the same question my husband because I don't know. Motherhood is interesting.
I bet. Yeah. So we're going to go on to part 2 and 3. So we'll see you guys in part 2 and 3 if you join us there. But if not, thank you so much for listening, and thank you very much, Anya.
Thank you. I hope that something was useful.
Most definitely. Lots of language there for everyone. Yeah. And some insight from a Russian's perspective of the UK. So, I'll see you guys in part 2 with Anya. Don't forget that this podcast is available as a premium podcast, giving you manually edited transcripts, extended glossaries, and flashcards. Also, if you wanted to dig even deeper, we have the Academy, which has exclusive videos going over the language used in the season-based episodes, analysing, giving examples, giving you the confidence to feel ready to go out and use that language yourself. And of course, we've also got the weekly speaking classes, so you can practice it in a safe space, meet some like-minded people, and really build on the community in the British English Podcast. For all of that, go over to the website, thebritishenglishpodcast.com. I also highly recommend that you get on my email newsletter, because I keep you up to date with what's going on in my life, giving you a new email lesson every week. If that's not for you, make sure you grab the free worksheet for this episode, and I will see you next time here on the British English Podcast. My name is Charlie. See you next time. Bye for now.